Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is June the 6th in our Lord's year 2024. Cardinals are coming off a 2-4 road trip. However, we are also coming off a 4-2 win versus the Stros, take on the lowly Rockies for 4 at home. How are we feeling?
Well, it was a 4-5 road trip.
Well,
Um,
2-4 lately. My apologies.
that's not how it works. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they played around 500 baseball so far. What are they, a game behind the Cubs now, I think?
Really went out on a limb on that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's how I feel about the team is they were great for a while, they were bad for a while, and they've been average the rest of the time. Um, they're one game behind the Cubs, is that right? For the second wild card spot, I
I
mean third wild
believe
card spot.
so. Yes, something
Yeah.
like that. I just looked at it and it was something like that. 6 games out of the Central, by the way.
Don't you get the feeling that it's kind of like between the three, four teams that are going to be fighting for that second and third wild card spot. It's just going to be whoever makes the smartest deadline moves that gets
I
in.
do. And before we get into everything, as I have promised everyone, June 1st was my date. June 1st is come and gone. So we're going to talk about that today. But I do want to give a special shout out. Thank you, Josh Jacobs, for filling in while I was gone. Show was dramatically better. So thank you to Josh for that. However, I would do have a little bone to pick with you. Thank you for waiting 52 minutes into a 54-minute podcast to let everybody know where I was and that I wasn't there. So no one was listening, not one person probably at that point in time. So I do appreciate you forgetting about me for the first 52 minutes because obviously you and Josh did such a good job. I was a forgotten memory. So thank you for that.
You're the one that left, so if you want to be remembered, you should probably not leave next time.
Whoa, whoa. Heroes get remembered, legends never die.
Does not have anything to do with you.
All
That
right.
saying's not
Okay.
for
So,
you.
so as it is June 1st, let's talk about this. Okay. Because we don't have to dig into the Philly. By the way, first of all, Philly's fucking good. Philly is a fun baseball team to watch. Every obviously when you're winning, it makes it more fun, right? Nobody likes watching bad baseball, but that is a team who seems to seemingly loves each other. Everything goes the right way for them. They play baseball the right way. They pitch well. They hit well. Their defense is probably middle of the pack, maybe a little bit above that. However, that is a fun baseball team, and also cool moment for Reese Hoskins coming back, hitting a bomb first game back in Philly as a member of the Brewers.
Yeah, the Phillies are good, and they just swept the Brewers, which helps the Cardinals out. Especially since the Cardinals lost 2 of 3 to the Astros. Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're pacing for like 112 wins or something crazy. I
Yeah,
don't think
they
they'll get
are.
there, but that's still wild.
I don't need it. But man, when you come out there with Nola, Wheeler, Walker's pitching well, Sanchez is pitching well, like that team is set up well, and you got a really good. They like obviously back into the bullpen doesn't have to throw every night, so big difference there also. Like health is a big thing, which
Yep.
we're going to talk about with the Cardinals later. So we are into June. Let's talk about this. You told me the other night that you knew exactly what I was going to say, and that I was going to say they were just an average team. That would have been sort of the easy move, which is honestly what you just said a little bit ago. So you did take the easy way out by saying they're just a 500 average team. However, here is what I will say. I will say I think this is a playoff baseball team, and I will explain to you why. Okay, and then I'm going to give you a couple levels of where
Okay.
I think they can go in the
Before
playoffs.
okay,
Oh, here we
before you
go.
do
Here goes
that,
Caleb. Here we go.
no,
Here goes Caleb
before
jumping
you
in
do
on what I'm
that,
saying.
I think there will be an average or two average teams from the NL in the playoffs.
That's fair. That's very fair. So let me explain to where I'm going with this. One, I think the emergence, and obviously we're going to have peaks and valleys with Nolan Gorman. You have to ride the peaks, right? You just have to absolutely ride them out because what he's doing right now is unbelievable. Mason Wynn, what he's doing, we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show. I want to talk a little bit more about him as well. What he's doing, unbelievable. Alec Burleson has emerged as a major league threat in the lineup, like which is what we needed. We've said for years we need a guy to step up. Here is what I will say with that. You're going to get Wilson Contreras back. That's only going to benefit because what Herrera's done, also, by the way, I think very, very good. Like you have a great young core. The young core are producing. We need, look, I'm speaking right to you, Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar, and Brendan Donovan. We need you guys. Like you can't just be a part of this team. You need to be a valuable part of this team. Lars, you got to figure it out, buddy. You got to find a way to stay healthy because if you are, this team is a whole different juggernaut of a lineup. Brendan Donovan, also figure it out. I know the game is hard. I understand that. I know you're working your ass off. I'm not saying you're not. But we need you to be a valuable contributor on this team because this team was built sort of around you. I mean, with your at the top of the order, which we're going to talk about later also. And Nolan, Three home runs, great. That's awesome. But we need him to be, he needs to go now. It's Nolan go time because this team has all the young guys that are doing what they need to do. And if those veterans start hitting, Goldie's turned the corner, it feels like. If Nolan does, and you get new Lars, I don't know the injury issue. Everybody has them. You got to figure out a way to play. Brandon Donovan, you got to figure out a way to stay on the field too. If you have an ache, get out there. All the other guys are aching too. Get out there and play. If this team has that lineup with Wilson back, to me, if they are popping and all you need are 3 or 4 guys to go, which right now is what's happening, and the other ones just blend in, this to me is a dangerous baseball team moving forward. Now, let me layer that with my final thing, and I'll let you react to what I said. All of that of what I just said is dependent on John Mozeliak. He did not address the starter issue going into. He did. First of all, he did. Let me preface that had 5 starters, but they were all old, and there was no backup plan, which we have seen poor Libby and then Andre Palante be thrust into. Zach Thompson don't even know what you're doing anymore. Okay, but with this bullpen, he did address the bullpen, but there are injuries now. I see a lot of people on Twitter just make it to the trade deadline. Mo, can't make it to the trade deadline, bud. Address it now. Do what you need to do. I don't know the answer. I don't have those answers. Jorge Lopez is a guy you and Josh brought up on the show. Yes, go get another arm with the news of Middleton. Riley O'Brien is out. I've not heard anything on him either. I don't know what is the story on him.
I
Don't
think
know
he
there.
started throwing again, but I mean, he had forearm issues too, so we'll see where that
Right.
goes.
Gio is. It does look like Gio might be cooked. I hope he's not for his sake, but it does look that way. We cannot continue to throw JoJo, Kittredge, and Helsley out 5 nights a week and expect it to work, which we saw backfire in Houston. So it honestly, I think this all lies on Mo to go get at least another arm in the rotation, to go get at least maybe 2 arms in the bullpen. And I wouldn't be mad if they went to get another bench bat. This bench went from being what I thought would be a strength to an absolute weakness. And let's do it sooner than later. Let's do it sooner than later. We saw Luis Ariz get traded already. There are guys out there to be had. Mo, it's on you now.
Yeah, it just depends on who's available, obviously. Like if they go get a starter, it needs to he needs to be better than Miles Michaelis, I think. Like you need Miles
Yes,
Michaelis needs to be your 5 starter the rest of the year. That needs to be what it is. And Lance Lynn needs to be your 4. And you need to find someone who fits in there right with Kyle Gibson or ahead of him, in my opinion. If they do that, then I think they can go on a run. I really do. Like the thing that's kind of annoying to me that people do, and I don't understand the logic behind it, is they say in what it's June, okay? And they say, well, what team's a World Series contender? How about you don't know? How about
correct.
that? No one knows. We don't know what they're going to look like. Did anyone think that the Padres were going to trade for Juan Soto in 2022 in June?
No,
No. No one thought that. No one even thought that they were going to trade for Luis Ariz a month ago. So I'm tired of who's a World Series contender, who's not. They're not a World Series contender. They're a playoff contender. If you're in the playoffs, you're a World Series contender. That's quite literally what you're doing is contending for a World Series. So I've always hated that because like John Mozeliak can make one move, and if it's the right move, and if it's someone like even if it's Jesus Luzardo, who's been really bad, but we know has the potential to be great, and he comes here and he's great behind Sonny Gray, then you can't tell me they're not a World Series contender because they are. So
agreed.
I think at this point, like I've seen a lot of people that I think almost want them to lose for
Yes,
some
that's what it.
reason.
Yes,
And if you get in the playoffs and Arenado or Gorman or both or something like that gets hot and you have 2 pitchers shoving, you can win a World Series.
I mean, let me
So
ask you this: if I were to ask you on June the 6th last year what your thoughts on the Diamondbacks were, would told me hey, they'll probably be in a World Series,
I would told you they were 2 years away, probably.
and that's what most people thought. Like honestly, the Orioles peaked in 2022, right? And people thought, and they didn't make the move at the deadline, and they got drilled for it. Well, they went on to win 100 games in 2023 because of it. So, like, you just don't know, and I just feel like the core is all of a sudden the young core is starting to click. I will also say I would love to see Jordan Walker back in this lineup. I've said it before. I think that just at Michael Ciani, thank you, buddy. Thank you for everything you've done. He has played Gold Glove defense. I'm not saying cast him aside, but it might be time to move on from Dylan Carlson. That might be the guy you have to move for a bullpen piece. I don't know what that gets you. I honestly don't, but I do think a
Nothing.
team that's rebuilding might get an arm at the end of a contract. That's all I'm saying. It might not be the a closer, but it might be an arm that could help you give you later innings. Also, at some point, and I don't know this answer, but it does feel like Ollie's going to have to maybe trust Ryan Fernandez a little bit more, and he's going to have to trust Matthew Liberatore instead of JoJo Romero in a late innings. And I know what he's done has
Yeah.
worked. I'm not bashing Ollie's managing. I think he's managed this bullpen incredibly well this year. except for the fact that I do think some of those guys down there, you're going to have to give them more experience because otherwise you're going to lose JoJo or Kittredge, knock on wood, and then they're going to have to be thrust into that situation.
Yeah. I think Leahy, you can throw him into there too. He's been really good.
He
So those
has.
three guys, yeah, give them opportunities. Like, why not? And if it doesn't work, then you go to Mosaic and say, hey, I can't throw JoJo and Kittredge 3, 4, 5 times every
Correct.
single week. So if this isn't working, then you got to go get me someone who's better than Kyle Leahy or better than Ryan Fernandez. I like both of those two guys and how they've performed. I know people have their doubts about Leahy, and I think it's fair, but we all know that not that good of relievers can have really great years. It happens. He's been good. Like, he has good stuff. And I think Ryan Fernandez has been good. He's been shaky though when he gets in high leverage and he scares me, but he's been fine. Like, Liberatore especially. Like, Liberatore made Jordan Alvarez look like a child. Like, the best hitter I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So well, he's not the best hitter I've ever seen, but one of the best hitters
No,
I've ever seen.
I know it's one of the top, probably arguably top 5 hitters in baseball right now.
Not
Right?
arguable, but yes.
Okay.
Top
Okay. Well,
3,
geez, sorry
in my
about the
opinion.
semantics there, bro.
I'm just saying it's not. Have you seen what that dude does in
Yeah.
the postseason? It's crazy.
I just think, and is it Loudest? He's been good. Like I'm not saying he's a high leverage guy, but he's been good. Like you're gonna have to lean on some of these guys and say, like they shut JoJo down for an entire series at one point.
Which should never
That you
happen, by the way.
that's what I was going to say. That should not happen. But that's because you've thrown him. And again, I'm not bashing Ali. It's worked. You're trying to win baseball games. I understand you've got to go with your best guys in certain situations. But maybe, especially this weekend against the Rockies, who by the way are not very good. Like they're not very good at all. Like
No, they're one of the worst teams in baseball.
maybe you give a Ryan Fernandez or a Leahy or a Loudis or whoever fill in the blank a couple opportunities in the 8th inning if it is a
I have
2
an
or
idea.
3 run game. Yeah, go.
You're playing the Rockies, win by more than 3.
100. That's obviously a big part of this.
Like,
But
when they need to win two of however many games they win the series, whether it's 3 or 4, which it has to be 3 or 4. They have to win 2 of those by more than 4.
and that leads me to the next thing that I was going to bring up. So that's good. Are you a little concerned about the infield defense? Like that's something we touted as potentially the best infield in baseball. Like we've talked about that on here.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that I think with their ceiling, all 4 of them, and even their floors, like probably one of the best in the league. But the errors late from especially Wynn and Gorman lately,
Winning
and Gorman's
Arenado
one
too.
the other day was a really tough plays on the shortstop side of the bag. Some of this
I'd throw Arenado in there.
Agreed, but that has cost them big. Like it has cost them runs, which
Yeah.
has cost them blowout wins essentially. And then the night it cost them a win in Houston. Where do you stand
Yeah.
on the obviously errors kind of come in bunches, and they're where do you stand on that? Do you think that's a fatigue thing potentially from Mason and Gorman? Do you think it's just a lack of concentration? Do you think it's fluky? I mean, you were a middle infielder. I was a middle infielder, but that was 30 years ago. So where do you stand on that?
They also weren't hitting the ball. I mean, 110.
100%. I'm just saying.
I don't know. It's confusing to me. It's not like I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of those guys being able to field the ball right at them. It's just weird. And the weirder thing is, it seems like our pitchers want to let the runs in every time it happens. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like Lance Lynn, this is a joke, but Lance Lynn's ERA is like 3.2. It should probably be about 4. But I feel like he's like, oh, wait, these aren't earned anymore. Oh, maybe I can give up a homer now. Maybe this is the time where I can do it. Like, every time there's
Don't
a
do
air
Lance dirty
behind
like that.
Lance. No, he would never. I'm kidding. Sonny does the same thing. Those two, every time there's an air behind him, the run scores, and that needs to stop too. But yeah, I'm not concerned about it, but it needs to stop. Because I don't think it's something that's like all 3 of them it's weird to me. I don't understand what's happening to all 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah, it does seem like I said. It seems odd. I was trying to look up Lance Lynn's FIP here.
It's almost like it's almost like it's infectious or something. I don't get it because
like
they
a
still all are
disease.
making really good plays. Like you'll see all 3 of them make a great play. So why are they like? Then you get like a slow roller to one of them and they boot it. It's weird. I don't get it.
That double play ball the other night. I mean,
Gorman and
so yeah,
Crawford.
so his to back your point up, Lance's FIP is 4.13. So
Yeah,
that does back your
and
point
that
up a
even
little bit.
feels low to me. I figured it'd be closer to 5.
Look, when Nolan Gorman gets on one of these heaters, you just got to get out of his way, bro. Like he said, and Jim Edmonds, who does drive a lot of people crazy, I understand, but there are, I get it, and me too. But at times, man, he is tuned in and he knows the game so much better than everyone. Sometimes that's a problem. Like to be fair, sometimes that's a problem. However, he said that he was talking to Gorman and he said, "Is there have you made an adjustment mechanically?" And he said, "No, it's just been pitch recognition." That every hitter I listen to, that means everything, especially with these guys throwing 95 to 100 every night. And just to be able to see it out of the hand and recognize it, you can see and when he gets on these, obviously he looks more comfortable because he's when you're hitting, you're more comfortable. But
Yeah.
man, oh man, is it that one he hit that moonshot the other night was amazing. That thing just stayed in the air forever. When he gets on with these heaters, that's when you need guys like Nolan and Goldie and just one or two of them to keep it rolling to back him up because it is fun to watch.
Yeah, he's real. I mean, this is what we knew he was gonna do. Like everyone was worried about him. Like, no, he just is gonna be a streaky hitter. Like it is. It's a lot of fun. I think he's hit what is it, seven? I mean, 6 homers in his last 8 games. Like
Yeah,
that's a crazy stretch to go on. I think he had 10 in his last month, and he has 6 of them in the last week and a half. So yeah, it's really fun to watch. I'm on this new thing that I think. Well, hold on. I have this new idea. I think Mason Wynn and Nolan Gorman need to be the two they lock up
yeah, I
for the
agree with that.
like this offseason.
100%. Yep.
Like this offseason, give them both contracts.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Just to talk about Mason a little bit, and then I got a couple questions for you. But just, I mean, highest batting average among all ML rookies. I mean, that's unbelievable, dude. That's absolutely unbelievable. He's your rookie of the year right now. He's your rookie
No,
of the year.
I think
He's mine.
Shota Managa's probably the rookie of the year.
I guess, but he's been on a down. I mean, to
Does he
play
have like a 2
shortstop
point?
every
He has
day,
like
I
a
get
2
it.
ERA.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that, and I understand that's the sexy pick, and I'm not arguing against it. Please understand that. I'm just saying that, like, what
I
he's
mean, I
doing
want
at the
Mason to win
shortstop
it.
position is unbelievable. And then from Buster Olney and from Elias Sports, Mason Wynn batted 300 in April this year and then 309 in May. The only other rookie since 2011 who had a 300 or higher average in April and again in May with at least 75 appearances in each month was Aaron Judge. Like that, what he's doing at what we thought was going to be the weakest part of his game has become the strength of his game.
Yeah, he's good. He's a really good hitter, and it doesn't look fluky either. Like it doesn't seem like it's something that's gonna fall off a cliff at all. His approach is really good. That homer in Houston was really cool to see, even though they lost that game.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a stud, and I don't understand why he's not batting leadoff every game at
Yeah,
this point.
I was going to ask you about that. That was going to be my question. Hitting eighth the other night seems like I just don't get it. I don't. What
It's
he needs
just
to be your
stupid.
he needs to be your leadoff hitter or your number two hitter, however you want to do it every night.
I mean, I think it just makes the most sense to bat him first and Burleson second right now. Get your
I agree.
get your
I
best.
agree.
Who are your best 3 hitters right now? Gorman, Burleson, and Wynn. Bet them in the
Yep.
top 4, all 3 of them.
I agree. 100% agree with that.
Like if Gorman goes through a cold spell here soon, which I mean, probably in a couple weeks he will, then you drop him down again. But for
Yep.
now, those guys when they're hot, get them up there. They need to be
You
seeing.
need guys,
You don't
and
have you don't have a
but
Ricky Henderson, so you don't have a
no.
guy that has to maintain that spot every day.
Let me say this too. One thing that does drive me a little bit crazy about the Cardinals, the rules have been changed to increase stolen bases. Why is Mason Wynn not stealing every time he's on? I don't understand, especially after the pitcher's thrown over twice. Why do we? I don't know what we're doing. Like, do you not? Does whoever hits behind him worried about? Like, I don't get it. That man should have 30 stolen
Michael
bases already.
Ciani, I don't think
Yeah,
Michael Ciani
right.
gets
Like
to
that's
say
what
in
I'm
who
saying. I
steals
mean,
and who
I
doesn't.
don't get it. But I'm with you. He needs to be leading off. He needs to be hitting second, and Burley needs to be hitting right in that area too. Move Brendan Donovan down. Maybe that gets him going. But right now, he is not doing what you need Brendan Donovan to
You
do.
just bet
And
Brendan
it's
Donovan 6th right now.
perfect.
Or 9th. No, not
Right.
9th.
I don't
8th.
eight. That's what I'm saying.
6th or 8th. Like, yeah. I mean, Donovan's gonna figure it out at some point, but you don't need to struggle with him at the top right now while he does it. I don't think.
A little bit about the pitching. I've been very critical, obviously, about Miles Michaelis, but he's been very good lately, and he was good again yesterday. Now, probably facing a getaway day lineup against Houston. Can't hold that.
Don't do
Can't
that.
hold. You didn't let
Well,
me finish.
You
again.
just did. You just
Hey,
felt it against him.
chill, Caleb. Let Mike cook.
You put it out there, so you could you do. We know what you did is you used it as an excuse for it, and then you said, "Well, we can't hold it against him," but you put it out there, so now people are thinking
Nope,
that's why.
nope. Because I said "but" after what I said, which means you eliminate the first phrase. So, but
Then you
you
shouldn't have
can't
even
hold.
said it.
Well, I did, and it's out there now. And don't go back and edit it out like you do half the other shit I say on this podcast. You guys would love it if we went live. By the way, you would love
we
it.
wouldn't have
Caleb
a
gets so
podcast
butthurt
anymore.
about things that he edits me out.
We wouldn't.
I'm
have
not
a
even sure I'm in the podcast anymore. You might only. I need to go back and watch the old pods. It might just be you talking the entire time, and I'm just sitting here nodding,
We'd be
and then I'm
kicked off
muted.
of YouTube
I'm muted
if
the
that was
rest
the
of
case.
the time. You guys would, if when we start doing these lives, you're gonna love it. Let me tell you that right now. Either way, Miles has been very good. That's great to see. But I'm with you. He needs to be your number 5 starter right now. Lance Lynn, lowest run support in the National League, So what he's dealing with
Really?
also is, yes, it's been incredibly. Look at these nuggets I'm bringing right now. All right. Uh, my guy Kyle Gibson. I don't know if it's sustainable for the entire year, but I told you, I mean, I said it. I'll continue to say it. I have been a Kyle Gibson fan since he's been in the Major League Baseball. There's just something about him I'm a fan of. When the Orioles were in town, they were talking about how the guys from the Orioles just did not have enough nice things to say about him and about how he was one of the top leaders in that dugout, which obviously young dugout, understand that, but that he was the guy that everybody was going to, including the hitters, Rutschman, Mullins, all those guys. I love everything Kyle Gibson brings to the table. And if Sonny starts to right the ship a little more, he was better his last time out. But if he starts to right the ship, well, second, two
He was
outings ago,
horrible his last time out.
maybe it was two outings ago. My apologies. That's what you need. And then, like I said, Mo, it's on you. It's time for Mo to step up and to be no more of this. No offense, John Lester, J. Happ. It doesn't. And at bullpen, let's throw the numbers at it. Let's just throw a bunch of guys at the bullpen if we have to. Also, let me ask you this: we traded for 482 pitchers last year at the trade deadline. How are none of them on the major league roster?
Well, some of them were, and then they got hurt. Um, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Simmer Bursa. Like, I haven't been keeping up with them. Like, I don't think those guys are ready, I guess, in their eyes. So they're not bringing them up. And I don't know what the deal is with them. Like,
Yeah, it's
none
just
of them are all too impressive. Drew Rom's hurt. Roberto's, I mean, he had an impressive start to the year. I don't think he's as good as some people were trying to act like he was. Klovenstein's whatever. Like, that's just where we are. Roby's really good, but he's a higher prospect. You don't rush him. So I don't know.
yeah. So we really maybe didn't have a great trade deadline pitching wise last year.
I mean, I don't know. The guy, I mean, maybe we'll see. Well, if Roby becomes a number three
Agreed.
starter, then we did.
And you get Lee O'Brien, like that could be huge.
That
Like
was
that
in the
that could
offseason.
I know, but I'm saying you get a young guy like that to go into the bullpen. That's a Mo move. Like that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying trade
Yeah,
deadline.
that was a
Um,
Chaim Bloom move if I've ever seen one.
I just think the problem again was there was no backup plan at starting pitcher. And I know that you and I've talked about a lot. Like it's hard to sign seven starting pitchers unless you're the Texas Rangers, which I understand all of that. However, it does seem like what was your plan? So you had five guys who were over the age of 33. You had to figure one of them probably going to get hurt at one point in time. And I know Mo. I think you said this the other day. Mo said he wants them all to start 30 games. I don't know who believes that. Like, so was it
It's
Zach
not
Thompson?
gonna
Where is
happen.
that? What is that? What is Zach Thompson doing? I don't. I just don't understand what's happening.
Apparently, they told him to lose too much weight and he lost his velocity because of it.
Oh my
That's what
god.
they said. Like, what is wrong with this organization? You're telling people to
I
get too skinny now? Why does Zach Thompson need to lose weight? He was not fat.
I
What?
don't know.
Who looked at Zach Thompson and said he needs to lose weight after Jordan Montgomery was on your team shoving? Like who? That makes no sense. I don't know.
It's very wild. Very wild.
That's what they did to Lance Lynn too. Remember that? And then Lance Lynn came back and he was bad.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, "I'm going back to eating barbecue and cheeseburgers," and he came out and shoved for the next 4 years. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, one other question, and let's talk a little bit deeper about this. Tommy Edman, what is going on there? Like it is June the 6th, and
Yep.
mum's the word, and I don't understand.
I bet we'll
Like
get more
maybe I
today.
completely don't understand the whole situation at all. I don't understand what's happening there.
Yeah, I bet we'll find out more today, if I'm being honest. Just because it's the first day of a homestand, a pretty lengthy homestand, and normally that's when they talk about it. But I don't know. I mean, they say he was taking swings from the left hand side for the first time all year. So that's good, I guess. I don't know. I'm not even all that interested in Tommy Edman being back right now.
I
I think he'll be a massive upgrade over Michael Ciani. I do because I don't know if he's not as good defensively, but he's still really good defensively and he's a much better hitter. But for now, like it's just not something that I'm concerned about because I don't know when it's going to happen. It could be August. I have no idea.
yeah. I mean, obviously, Dylan Carlson. I'm gonna let you talk about him a little bit. What happened?
I don't know. I think the Cardinals messed him up quite a bit. If we like just go back, 2021, he was really good. Obviously, his rookie year. 2022, he was really good for like 2 months. Then he got hurt. Then they rushed him back, and then he was never the same that year. And then he had that whole Juan Soto situation going on, whatever. And then 2023, they just decided he was a role player. Like that's what
Yeah,
happened. They just decided he was no longer a starter. Oh, and gave guys like O'Neal and um Who else? Who was in center field last year? It was O'Neal. They let O'Neal play center field over him last year. Like that's what happened. And then now, I mean, there's no excuse for him right now. Like you're getting opportunities and you're not doing anything with them. So they shouldn't play you just because where you were a top prospect 5 years ago at this point. But I don't know what to say about him. It's kind of depressing to watch right now because he
Yeah,
has nothing.
it's
He has nothing. He doesn't add anything to this team. He's not. His defense hasn't even been good. His arm is like his best attribute, and he's made awful throws almost every time, and he just can't hit even against lefties now. Like the one thing he could do in the batter's box against lefties, he can't do anymore seemingly. So I don't know.
yeah, it feels like it's time to move on. Like it's just you got to get something for him, and I do think a team will take a chance on him because the skill set is there. He was a top pick. He was a top prospect. Like I think you can get something again if it's a reliever arm. Let's do it. Like if Tommy's coming back or Jordan Walker's coming up, let's go ahead and make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know who you're getting. I don't know what good reliever you're
I
getting for him.
obviously I don't know that either, but like I
I
would
mean,
assume
the
you can get
question would
something.
be, question would be is his defense and potential bat against lefties because I still think he's good against lefties if he figures it out. Is that worth trading for some middle reliever? I don't think so, unless the
Yeah.
reliever's good. Like
Do
and
you
and
go ahead?
honestly, right now, I think now's the time to let him play. Stop playing Matt Carpenter. I'm tired of seeing it. Like let
That's
Dylan Carlson
yes.
play right field for a week or 2 weeks. Say you're playing every day and see if he can get hot. See
If
if he
there
can
is
figure it out with consistent playing time.
I know he's going to get a hit here and there, and that's fine and all. There's zero reason for Matt Carpenter to be taking this many at bats. There's no reason for it. He's not going to help you long term in this lineup. He's just not, and it's frustrating when you see him in there. I just don't get it. This was the concern when they signed him. It is playing out to
Yeah,
fruition.
but there's a lot
Part
of
of
circumstances we
I,
didn't see coming.
again, you just cut me off. That's what I was getting ready to say. You really
Well,
either read my brain or
well, it wasn't real. But when you said we were concerned, I wasn't. I didn't think Contreras and Newbar would be hurt.
yeah, I that was going to say that, but that's you didn't let me.
I didn't think
So
Walker would be in AAA. We didn't think a lot of things were
also
going to
was going to
happen.
say that. So I
Okay.
guess this is good
Either way,
journalism right here. This is
either
good,
way,
good podcasting.
For Matt Carpenter, like he's a good guy to come off the bench in a big spot because he's going to take a good at bat.
Yes,
We've seen it multiple times.
bingo.
Um, Dylan Carlson should be playing right field right now. Just like give him 2 weeks and say you're playing every single day for these 2 weeks and see if he can figure something out. That's what I would do. They're not going to
Yeah,
do it, but that's what I would do.
do you do you think we're about to maybe see a Nolan Arenado stretch, or do you think that we're just going to get the flashes every once in a while? Like I heard somebody say it on the other day. I don't remember who it was on MLB. But like the back of the baseball card at the end of the year will reflect who Nolan Arenado really is, or do you think this is the version of Nolan Arenado we're going to get? And that concerns me about how far this team can go. Like it really does because you built
I don't.
35 million in around Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think we'll see a hot stretch. I think we're seeing one kind of now. He has 3 homers in his last 9 games, right? That math
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that's right. Maybe not even no, 3 homers in his last 7 games. So that's pretty good. If you can keep doing that, I'll take that. I'll take that over at 162. But I don't know, man. Like I still think he has it in him. I gotta see it. He just looks different too. I don't know how to explain it. He looks older. Like,
yeah.
that's all you can say. Like he doesn't look like 2022 Arenado. And anyway, he didn't
I
like even in his face. You know what it was? It was his child. That's who did it.
those damn kids.
He became a dad and he got old fast.
Damn it, bro. It
No.
happens.
But
It happens.
being honest, and I do think he still has it in him. He has to do it. I don't know if he's going to.
Yeah. Is the concern for Cardinals fans like you and I and like the rest of the card, not the ones who are just like totally always pessimistic, but the ones logical thinking Cardinal fans that another 500 year just means that that's kind of what we're going to be mired in for a while because what like here's what I mean by that. What do you do with Goldie? Like I mean an
Let him
extension
walk.
honestly makes no sense at this point. I I love him. I love him, and I wouldn't be mad if it's a 1 or a 2 year thing. But you can't give him 3 years, bro. You just can't because we've seen it happen all too
Are you
often.
talking about after the season?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you're like
They're not
if you're
extending Goldie. There's no way.
so okay, so you're just gonna lose him for what for nothing essentially.
I don't. I never understood. I never understand why people say that. Because this is a team trying to make a playoff push, and you trade for rentals when you're in a playoff push.
No,
So
no,
why
no.
would you
I'm not
trade
arguing.
your rentals away? I've always
I'm
hated that. It makes no sense to me.
I'm not
People say that
saying
all the
that.
time.
What
It's
I'm
like you
saying,
can't lose them for nothing. It's like, yeah, you actually can.
What I'm saying is it puts you in sort of a quandary because you could trade him to get something. It's not going to be massive because he's in a walk year.
Yeah, like what are you
But
getting?
but I worry about the extension there with him. I worry about the Nolan Arenado situation. Then, like, do you invest that money and go out and get a Kyle Tucker? Like, do you go out and get another? Do you do
Well,
something
that's a
like that? Or
couple years in the
I
future.
get it. But that's just things you have to think about. That's what I'm
So what are
saying.
you asking?
Like, I think. Do you think Cardinals fans are worried that again a 500 year keeps you competitive enough? But if you don't go out and make the moves, then you're stuck with these players again for 2025.
But they're not because goalie's gonna be gone.
But you're stuck with Nolan. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some Cardinal fans are worried about that. I wouldn't be make a playoff push. That's what you should want. This is another thing I'm not understanding. If you're a fan of a team, you should want your team to make a playoff push every year.
Yes.
Why are these people like, well, what if we get in and lose in the first round? Well, okay, what if you get in and win the first round? What kind of question is
Right.
that?
I
You
know. I
definitely can't
agree.
win it if you don't get in it.
Yeah.
Guarantee you
That
that.
feels to me like a question from someone who's never played sports a day in their life.
Just doesn't make any. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Like why would you want your team to miss the playoffs just because you might lose in the first round? Well, who?
Right. I know that
I
is.
guarantee you, half the teams in the playoffs will lose in the first round. Guarantee.
Yes. Yeah.
How stupid! I hate that so
I
much.
agree. I agree. Let me ask you this. I've said this for a while and I still kind of feel this way. I think this team needs to make another move for a bat at some point just to strengthen the bench. I said it earlier in this podcast. Like, what do you think about that? I mean, you can't go in with Brandon Crawford and Matt Carpenter and Michael Ciani on your bench. Like, you just can't do that. Like, I think they're going to have to make a move to upgrade on that bench and it maybe a veteran of some sort. I mean, there is a guy in Chicago who's not real happy about being sent home from third on a shallow fly ball that does have nothing
Tommy
but winning
Pham.
in his pedigree that would be nice to have on this bench. I'm just
Did
saying.
you know? Did
And
you know Tommy Pham wanted to come to the Cardinals in the offseason and they told him no?
I
I'm
have
not
not
kidding.
heard.
He was in Jupiter, try asking them to give him a job, and they said no.
Who's they, Mo?
The people that make the decisions.
So
I
that that
guarantee it wasn't Arenado that said no.
that Sports Illustrated article still has him butthurt, I guess.
Imagine having Tommy Pham and Lance Lynn
That's what I'm
back in the
saying. Like
Cardinals. That'd be funny.
at some point, Mo, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
step it up, buddy. Quit being fucking butthurt. Like I'm dead serious. Like this
I
team,
don't know if that's the
make the team
case though.
better.
Do you?
I don't know either. I'm just saying that's a guy. That's a guy who's going to
At
get
that
traded
time, he
to a
probably
contending team.
reasonably at the time he probably reasonably thought Dylan Carlson would serve the same role Tommy Pham serves, which is to
You
hit
know,
lefties as an outfielder.
you know where he's going to get traded, right? And that's Milwaukee, and that frightens me to death.
He doesn't fit in there at all.
I mean,
He
I don't think
doesn't.
anybody
He
thought he
just
fit in.
fought them. He just fought them 2 days ago.
Well, that's on the field, But
He literally just said that he was going to beat up William Contreras. I don't think
I
he's
know that
going
was
there.
hilarious. Tough guy. He
Do
called
you
him a
think if he
tough
came
guy.
to St. Louis, Wilson would like him,
Absolutely,
even after he tried to beat up his brother?
absolutely, absolutely.
I don't
Hey,
know.
okay, let me talk to you about this. Cardinals are right at 500, and we talked about how it's on Mo. Interesting stat. Cardinals attendance is down 6%, sixth worst in Major League Baseball. Are you shocked by that?
Sixth worst?
Yeah. Now I think we can all
No
guess the
way.
worst. Yeah. I
Wait,
think we
wait,
can.
hold on. Are you saying the percentage is down
6%
as the
from
sixth worst?
6% is their percentage down from 2023, which is the
Right.
sixth worst drop in Major League
Okay.
Baseball.
See what the way you said it, I thought you meant that it was the sixth worst attendance in Major
No,
League
no, the
Baseball. I was like,
sixth,
that
the
doesn't make any
sixth
sense.
highest drop. Maybe highest is the way I
Okay.
should say that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we can all guess that Oakland is the highest, right? 29% from last year because no one is
How?
going. Well, they must have had just enough
They didn't have any
last
fans
year.
last year.
Can you guess the other five that are ahead of the Cardinals? Or four now, because I gave you Oakland.
The Rays.
Nope. I'm giving you two guesses and then we're moving on because this is becoming bad podcasting now.
I don't have any idea. I don't even want to guess. You got it. Mets.
Okay, so that they're the 26% in Flushing Meadows, bro.
There's
They're
no
down
one at the Mets games.
26%. Third, the White Sox. They're the third
Yeah.
worst, obviously. Now, fourth, the Astros are down 11.5%. Fifth are the Angels. I thought the Angels would be top two with Ohtani and being gone and Trout being out. I thought they'd be there. Now,
So
but
the
you know what?
Astros.
Hold on. Let me say this. You know what all five of those other cities, Oakland discounted, so all four of those other cities have? Those are massive motherfucking cities in this country. For the top five cities in America, right there. St. Louis is baseball. Like, people come to St. Louis for baseball games. They don't go to LA to go to an Angels game. They don't go to New York to go to a Mets game. Dude, like, that's wild to me. Like, that that has to be eye opening to BD Dub and to Mo. And if it's
Isn't
not,
fair.
then we got to. Then if it's not, then that tells me Mo's not making a major move, and we are stuck in
Well,
mediocrity for
doesn't
the
it have
next.
to? Well, what's a major move? Like if he just redoes the 2022 deadline, that's good enough for me. You get a
Really?
Monty and a
Yeah, yeah,
Quintana.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
If he
Yeah,
does
yeah, yeah.
that, they're World Series contender.
Yeah,
Like
I
something
agree.
of that ilk.
Yeah,
So I like he has shown the willingness to do that in the past. Like he makes moves for starting pitchers. It might not be the pitchers you want at the time. It might not be the flashy names, but they're always good. I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense, but they're always good when he does it. So I actually trust him to make that move. But for attendance, like it's not surprising. You can't go 2 years of a team nobody believes in. People are starting to believe. Twitter's a little bit more positive these days, but overall, the fan consensus was not positive about this team coming into the year. I
no,
thought
it
that
was
some of
not.
it was unfair, and I still believe that. And I think they're kind of showing that it was a little unfair, but they haven't done themselves any favors. Now here's the thing: if they start, so let's say they sweep the Rockies this week, they win 2 or 3 of the Pirates, and we're looking up, and they're 3 games above 500, and they're in a wild card spot, and then they're that way the entire rest of the year, and they're in a wild card spot, they never lose it. Then yeah, they're going to see a lot of attendance in July, August, September, because people want to see that. People don't want to go to the stadium and have a bad time. No one
Yeah.
wants to do that. It's expensive, and it sucks to watch a team that's lifeless like it was last year.
You brought up Monty. He just exited Arizona game at home to a chorus of boos, which I don't think that's rare in Arizona. Like that is not something you hear a lot. He has been dreadful for them. And then you look at Blake Snell, who went out with an injury. I mean, what do those two have in common? I mean, obviously there's two things. They held out and Scott Boras, and neither have been worth a shit signing where they did. Do you think that sets a precedent for some of these other players, especially pitchers? We've talked about it before that like you just can't miss spring training. It feels like we saw last year with the Cardinals with Miles and Wayno being in the World Baseball
The
Classic.
BBC.
Like,
Yeah.
I it just feels like get there, boys, get there, figure it out, figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's just set a precedent to just stop hiring Scott Boras.
Feels like it, but they're not gonna because he
Like
gets them paid.
he did he?
I mean, his track
Who
record.
did
That's what I'm
who did he
saying. His
get paid
track
this
record.
offseason? He had four
Yeah,
opportunities and was 0 for 4. Like Matt Chapman is like I haven't heard a word about him the entire year. And
he's
Cody
been good.
Bellinger's back in Chicago on a 1 year deal. Like the Monty, Belly, and Snell gave Scott Boras a dream last season to
Yeah,
go off of to pay him, and they made nothing. It was wild.
correct.
I don't know. Like it sucks. I wish Monty didn't do all that stuff with Contreras because I don't think he'll ever come back here
No, he
because I
won't.
wish he would. But yeah, it sucks. Maybe they should just trade for Blake Snell and see when he comes back
give
if he's
give
good.
our fans two starting pitchers names that you think could be maybe on the list that the Cardinals could go after. I'm going to say sooner than later. I don't think you can wait till August 1st, even though I know Matz is going to go on a rehab program. Great. You got to do something. So is there anybody that's piqued your interest that you're looking at?
I have two guys. One, Jesus Luzardo.
Okay.
I know he's been bad this year. He was so good last year. That's a guy that you're gonna have to give up so much less this year than you would have to like 6 months ago if you were trading for him. Because they can't ask if you ask for a Nolan Gorman now, I'm laughing in your face because you're not getting that for Jesus Luzardo right now. So that's the number one guy that I think I would be incredibly excited if they got. And the number two would be Garrett Crochet. I'm not giving up much of anything for him because he was a reliever for almost his entire career and he really hasn't started consistently since college. So I'm not doing that, but I would love to see him here. If you're not giving up, Mason Wynn or something crazy. Like those are two
Well,
guys that
obviously.
I think immediately become your second most talented starting pitcher. Like
Let me
right from the
throw a
bat.
name out there for you, and you're going to tell me they can't get him because it'll cost too much. But the name is Mason Miller in Oakland because they're going to trade him. And I think it's criminal. But
They're not trading
what if,
him.
could you imagine if you had Miller and Helsley at the back end of the bullpen? Bro,
Okay, I thought you said starting pitcher.
I did, but I just,
So let me
well,
give you
actually,
a
I said two
name.
pitchers. I just said two
Closer.
pitchers. I just said two
They're not
pitchers. I
trading
didn't,
Mason Miller, and if they are, it's going to be for Jordan Walker, and I'm not doing it.
no way they're going to win. Oh, when has Oakland ever
He has
wanted?
6 years of control.
I understand that, but they're also
He throws
moving with,
103.
I'm well aware, but the talk is
Also,
he's getting traded.
very lengthy injury history. I'm not doing it.
Yes, I think that's the issue. So like I don't think I think that's a guy you don't have to give up a lot either. When does, let
What,
me ask you
Dad?
this.
You're
Ah,
going to have to give a ton. A
when does
ton.
Victor Scott become part of the conversation of trading, or is he off the table for you?
He's not off the table for me. There's
Okay.
one. There's I think there's three players off the table for me, and that's Gorman, Wynn, and Walker.
Okay. All right. And
And
hence,
obviously the guys that are like old veterans that we need to keep around for now.
Tink Hence is off the off, and I know he got
Yeah, but
injured
it
last night.
depends. Are you giving me a starter with 3 years of control? Then he's not.
Yeah, but bro, you're gonna need more. You got to start getting these guys that
I'm
don't
just saying.
cost
I'm
you
just
a
saying.
fortune. I
Like, if you
know.
give me a starter for with 3 or 4 years control, he's not off the table. Now that'd have to be like that. That would have to be someone that you know is a star for 3 years. But
Right.
like, I wouldn't trade for a bad. There's no way. But
Um. So transferring before we get out of here, a couple things. Rocky series, 4 games
yep,
at home against the Rockies, who are not very good at baseball right now. Um.
they're
Give
horrible.
me your predictions. Anything you're looking at? What are things that stick out to you about this series?
I think they sweep them because the Rockies are like the worst road team of all time every year. And I think they need to sweep them, honestly. I really do. This is the get fat series that they need to take advantage of because they did not take advantage of it against the White Sox. Um, and I'll give you my hitter. I think Arenado. You know what a good series to get Arenado hot is against the Rockies. So um
Good.
that's where I'm going. I think they sweep them, dude. You gotta sweep this series. You cannot. I don't care if Austin Gomber has been good. I don't care if some of their pitchers aren't horrible, which they almost all are. Just please sweep this team. Don't lose a game. You can't. You can't do it.
From a is his name Beeks, the closer owner who just gave up 5 runs, and like I own him on my fantasy team. Let's go ahead and put a bunch of runs on these
They've
guys. Let's give JoJo, Kit, and Helsley a little rest this weekend. I know Helsley's fresh, only threw once. I get that,
He
but
was
that
so
would be
good too.
nice.
Also, there was a stat they've given up 5 or more runs in an inning in the ninth or later 3 times this year.
Yeah, they're
That's
bad.
never happened in history of baseball, most ever, and it's June.
I would like to go ahead, even though you did wait till deep into it to mention my name. I was right on the last podcast. I just want that noted. I said 1 and 2, and that Gorman was going to be the guy. Just want that noted. That needs to be on the record again. And then you said, "Oh, he really went out on a limb," and then you proceeded to pick like Nolan Arenado and say they go 2-1. Oh, bro. Okay. Oh, you really went
That's
against
going
me
way
there.
more out on a limb than you, the way that
Shut
season's
up,
going.
dude.
Also, Alec
Shut up.
Burleson was really good too. Give him some credit. We didn't talk about him much at all today.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about him on the next podcast because I want to do a little bit more about him. I
He's
don't.
gonna
I'm
go
not
0
trying
for
to
12
glaze
this
over it.
series, and we're not gonna be able to talk
Probably.
about him.
He's not. He's too good. So here's mine. I say we go 3-1 because there's always one. There's
There's
always
gonna
one
be
hiccup. Oh, I agree, but there's always one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my dude Nolan Gorman because he's on a heater right now, and I
another
just
hot
think
take here from you.
I
Both of
don't
them.
have to be a hot take. I mean, I think he could hit 5 home runs in the series.
That'd be crazy.
I'm
That'd be
just saying,
insane. I
like,
mean, he could, I
obviously
guess. It's
that's
possible.
a little bit hyperbolic there, but he could. Like he legitimately could.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. Don't lose a game to this team, dude. I'm sorry. Take it game by game and just go beat the Rockies are so bad. I get that they're not going to lose 162 games, so they have to win games somewhere. But if they split this series, I'm out on the season.
You
I'm not
have
even kidding.
first of all, you have said that 14
And they've
times
never done
on
it. They
this
haven't done it when
podcast.
I said. They haven't done what I said. So I'm saying it again. If they split this series or lose 3 or 4, God forbid, I think it's cooked.
Brewer, I'm trying to look here. Sorry. Brewers, who do they have this weekend? I did not. I should have known that.
They have the Tigers. It seems like they play one good team a month. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
The Tigers have a nice little pitching staff going there,
Jack
by the way.
Flaherty. Oof. Jack Flaherty's been like one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Tarek Skubal is in the Cy Young conversation over there. So
Jack
yeah,
Flaherty might be too. There was a stat I saw. He's like the first pitcher through like I think it was through 9 starts to have struck out 95 plus batters and walked less than 10.
good Lord. Good for Jack, by the way. I'm pumped for
What
him.
what the hell?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I love Jack. Why did you not do that here? What
Um,
what happened?
two
Gosh, that's so
things,
frustrating.
two things that I want to talk to before we get before we get out of here. Aaron Judge is on an Aaron Judge run right now. Let me ask you this. I didn't look the number up, but he's got a very good chance to get 500 home runs. Hall of Fame if he's in,
Does
if
he?
he hits it.
He's a Hall of Famer if he doesn't, in
Okay,
my
so you
opinion.
think he's already in? I like that take.
I'm over the arbrary numbers. I
I
hate
get
them.
it. I
I think
get
they're
it. But
stupid.
I've seen takes out there that say even 500 he doesn't get in. By the way, the only one that's not in is Gary Sheffield outside of Barry Bonds. I get that,
Oh, here's
which
the
is
thing,
odd.
Dad. So Aaron Judge has 278 career homers as of today. He
Yeah,
has 46 career WAR. So if he were to get to 500 homers, that
Yeah,
probably means he's up over 70.
yeah,
WAR.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's a
in
Hall
my
of
mind,
Famer without a
he's a
doubt.
no doubter. Like he's
He's a
also
Hall of Famer.
the way I continue to look at it is you have to look against your peers. That's the way to do it. And this, what is this new thing now? That Jaws, right? It's like your best 7 to 10 years in your prime.
Yeah.
That to me is way more valuable than some of these other stats.
Yeah.
Because first of all, Gary Sheffield has to be in the Hall of Fame. This is unbelievable that he's not. I watched that. Like I watched
That
that
was
dude
steroid.
play,
That's steroids is why people don't have him, man.
but he never tested positive.
I'm
Correct? Am
not
I
saying
right?
he did steroids. I'm saying that's
Right.
why he's not in. It's not because he
That
wasn't good
has we have
enough.
to baseball writers listen. We have to eliminate the you think he might have done thing. We got to get rid of
Yeah,
that.
I don't like it either.
That's it. It's idiotic. You have no idea. And even
Yeah, I have no
honestly,
idea, but
if he tested positive somewhere where it wasn't a major league test, I don't know that answer. I should probably know that answer. He still needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Don't care. One of the best players I've ever seen play, and
yeah,
way before the steroid era started.
if Aaron Judge, I don't even know if he's gonna get to 500. By the way, that's a lot of homers to hit in the
It
next
is
6, 7 years, however long he has left. But he might. I mean, very well could he hit 50 a year and get in 4 years? I don't know,
right.
but or 5 years. He's a stud though. He's a top five hitter I've ever seen, easily. It's not even close. Like
Next,
no, he might be top three.
next question is probably going to be a little bit more controversial for you. For maybe our fans and our traditionalists. All right. So let me just say that now. So I'll probably get some heat for this. By the
All
way,
right.
thank you all. It's great to be back. Hit that subscribe button. Love y'all. Appreciate that. Is it time to change the All-Star game? And here's why I ask. Right now, your National League outfield war leaders. So your best three outfielders are Jurickson Profar, Christian Yelich, and Fernando Tatis Jr. Right? And the reason I ask that is with the internationality, I don't know if that's a word, but I just used it, of the game. Is it time to make? I mean, I know the NBA is looking at this. Is it time to maybe go the North America versus the world, or would that piss you off to get rid of the National League versus the American
It
League?
wouldn't piss me off. I think what happens if there's a season where let's say you have 60 all-stars. I don't know how many the number actually is, but let's say 60. What
I
hap
think it's
Okay.
35 a roster or
I'm
something
using
like
I'm
that.
using a fake
I know you
number.
are. I know.
Let's say there's 60. What happens if there's a year where 50 Latin players deserve to be in? Then what?
Okay.
You have 50 versus 10?
Can I play devil's advocate on that? How many years have we seen this arbitrary rule of one player per team makes it, and you got guys who have a 4.1 ERA because they're the best Oakland A or the best Detroit Tiger, or they're hitting 270 and they're on the
Shout out
All-Star
Michael
team.
Lorenzen. Okay, don't do
Bingo.
batting
So
average.
that's all I'm saying. It's now on their like baseball reference. They're an All-Star. Shout out to them, by the way. Great for them. But that doesn't mean they're one of the best 70. If it
I
is
don't like
70 or
that though.
80,
Like I feel like I don't like that.
I'm just asking.
Was
I
it like
think
the
that's where the
world
game
versus
might
white
be headed.
people? Is that what it would be?
What?
Is
No,
it
it'd be North
like
America. That would include Mexico.
North
That
and
would
South
include
Mexico?
Canada.
There's
Huh?
no Mexico baseball players. There's like one. It's Gio
Well, that would
Gallegos.
include what is Puerto Rico considered? Puerto Rico's considered.
So what do
I
you
don't
do with
know
Randy
how.
Rosarina?
I don't know how you break it up. I don't know that
I don't know
answer.
either.
I'm just simply asking.
I don't no, I don't like that.
I knew you
Like I don't
wouldn't,
want
and I know
I
our
well, I don't
traditionalists won't. The guys who
well,
consider themselves
I don't like
old school.
separating I don't like separating people from you're from America, you're from different countries. I don't like
Well, I
that.
mean, it's America's pastime. Like that's all I'm saying. I think the NBA is going to do it, which I'm actually on board with. Like especially in the
Why? It's
NBA,
so stupid.
I just kind of like it. Like
So what happens at the NBA? That's even more of a problem because what they have 20, if say they have 30 all-stars, I guarantee you more than 15 of them are going to be from America that are deserving. Guaranteed. It's gonna be Luca and Jokic, or there's the only player on the other team. Jamal Murray. He's
I mean,
Canadian.
Wembenyama. I mean, we've got all kinds of people that are on
He didn't
in
even
the
make the All-Star
NBA.
game this year.
Porzingis, like you can just keep
Porzingis
going
is not
on.
an All-Star.
He would have been this year. He might have been this year.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying, like there are plenty of guys in the
I
NBA.
personally don't think that's necessary at all
Okay,
because of
all
one
right.
bad outfield year.
I think it's wild because if you don't pay attention, but Mookie moves to short, Bryce Harper moves to first, Otani's a DH only, Ozuna's a DH only. Like those guys are. It's interesting to like obviously look at it how
It's
it's
like a
played out.
fluke, though,
And
isn't it?
please understand that I'm not saying you make this move for 1 year, like because of 1 year. I'm saying I hate the rule where one player from every team makes it. I hate it. It's not an
That
All
would
Star
still be
game
a
then.
thing even with the world versus US thing.
It doesn't have to be.
It would be. Well, I'm just
I don't
saying.
like your pessimism sometimes.
I mean, it would be. Why would they change that? They want people to watch.
I figured that would be your take. I think that's the majority of baseball fans' take. I'm saying I wouldn't be terribly against it, and I love the. You know how I love the All Star game.
I just
Like
don't. I just don't.
I've
I just don't
always loved it.
understand the idea of pitting countries against each other for a
Well, I mean,
All Star game.
that's what the World of Baseball. I mean, it's just
It's
bragging
not.
rights.
That's
Kind of. It
like the
makes to
Olympics.
me. Here's the thing: they tried the let's this game counts thing, which was a nightmare. All right, right.
That was so
You got
stupid. That was
agreed.
so stupid.
But what I do think is, I do think of all of the All Star games, the only one worth anything really anymore is Major League Baseball's. I love the NBA one because it's 170 to 160. Fine, that's fun as a fan. The hockey game is like
It's
nobody's
all
playing,
good.
nobody's
I
trying
don't
to
even
stop
watch it.
goals, and they play flag football now in the NFL. It's not even a game. So I do think it would make it even more entertaining of a game to make it something like that. That's all I'm
I
saying.
don't think so.
Okay, I
Maybe,
understand that.
maybe. I
I
don't know.
understand both sides of it. I'm just saying I'm intrigued to see if that's
I'm
maybe
kind
in
of
the
just
future.
over All Star games. I'm over it.
I love them, dude. I love the MLB All Star, and I love the NBA All Star Weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I love both of
That's
them.
fine.
I like
Maybe
the
All Star
skills
Weekend was good when
competition.
this. I don't know. It
Right,
sucks kind of now.
it's not as good. I love the 3-point contest. Like that's one of my favorites.
It's fine.
But I love the skills competition and the hockey one. But the I don't pay one lick of attention to the NFL one. Not one
No one
lick.
does. No one
No,
does. They're
it's
like doing
bad.
stupid
They don't
stuff.
even go to
Like throwing
Hawaii
targets.
anymore. Those poor players. They
Yeah, I
got to go to
know.
like Arizona or Orlando, Florida, and like, come on. And then they got to take pictures with Mickey Mouse the entire time they're down there. What are we
Yeah, I
doing?
know. Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about around the league before we get out of here? Um,
So, okay, you gave your proclamation after June 1st.
I
Um,
did.
so what would your percentage be of confidence that they make the playoffs?
Okay. So if you remember right, in April maybe or March before the season started, I said they'd win 80 games. Okay.
Yeah,
I think they're trending towards 84, 84, 85 wins. That's where I would put them right now. So I have
before any
adjusted
additions.
before any additions. Yes. And I think even with the additions, because I do believe Mo will wait late and do it nothing. He's going to do
I
nothing
mean,
early. I still think that's probably still a good number for them. It's 84
well,
wins.
in
So
2021 and 2022, they were around 500, and then they made those moves in August, and then they got to 90 over 90 wins both of
yeah,
those.
if that happens, awesome. I'm not going to predict that. Right now, there's something about this Brewers team. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they have some voodoo magic up there in Milwaukee.
It's annoying.
But they do collapse quite often in the second half. We have seen this. We've seen this play
Yeah, I
out
don't
before.
believe it. I don't believe in them.
So,
I'm just gonna go out and say
um,
that one injury to their
how
pitching staff and they're cooked.
However, where I would put the card, like the National League is trash, bro. The National League is so bad. Like there are so many bad baseball teams in the National League. Right now, my confidence of the Cardinals making the playoffs is around 75%, probably. Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
I
that's
was
how
gonna go
bad
like
the look
52.
around the huh?
I was gonna go like 52.
Look around the league, dude. Like just
I'm
look
not any
around
more
like
confident in them than I am the Diamondbacks.
no, but I'm also not confident. That's why I'm saying like I do think it's going to be contingent on the moves, which I do believe Mo's going to make because I think he's going to have to. Like I think that's going to have to happen.
You should
And
want to.
if he doesn't, that 6% attendance drop we saw is going to be even more come August. Like they're in the heat of the summer. That's what I'll
Yeah,
say.
I
So
agree.
that's why I believe that. And I have zero faith in Mike Schilt and the Padres. Zero. The
Manny
Giants,
Machado just got hurt too.
I don't trust the Giants at all. The Diamondbacks can't seem to figure things out in their rotation right now.
And
Christian
if
Walker's been great.
Corbin Carroll's not good, they're not going anywhere.
Right. Another member of my fantasy team, by the way. So yeah, like I agree with that. I don't trust the Cubs at all. That offense is not good.
No.
I outside of Imanaga, that rotation isn't very
Steele,
good. He's fine.
he's
I don't
good, but he's
the Reds and the Pirates, they're a nothing to me right now. Like I don't trust like those two teams to me. I don't even put them into the equation anymore. I don't. Hey, I think their future's bright in Pittsburgh.
I
Love
don't.
watching Skeens and Jones pitch, but they're not going to do anything to
The
add
future's
offense.
not bright.
No,
They'll have
what
two
I mean
good.
was with those
Now
two.
they'll
Like,
have two good pitchers. That's what it will
yeah,
be for now.
and
Well,
then
three.
I
Mitch
agree.
Keller's good.
And then they'll trade him like they did Tyler Glass now and all the and Garrett Cole and all the other ones. That's what's going to
Yep.
happen. So I'm
And
going to
Chris
say
Archer.
75%. I know I'm going to get probably lambasted for that. However, that's where I'm going to sit right now, only because the rest of the league is so bad. And also, I don't think anybody knows. Like, I think Atlanta will make it, but you
They're
know,
not that good anymore either.
also let me ask you this really quickly. This is what I wanted to ask earlier. If you're the Cardinals, do you just give whatever it takes to get Max Fried next year?
Money wise,
Yeah.
like for free agency, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to hit on that earlier. Maybe we can talk about that
If he
next
stays
time a little
healthy, he's
bit
like Clayton Kershaw. That's how
because
good he is.
I agree. Like, and everybody seems to think, and by everybody, I mean the people that I try to follow and try to like trust and listen to, that they're not going to sign him.
No, they would have already.
Right. That's what I agree. So, I mean, that's the guy, right? Like, if you're the Cardinals looking out to next year,
He's
that's
also the
that should be
guy
your
for
number.
everybody else.
I get it, but at some
He'll
point,
be an
you're going to
Oriole.
have to. If you can't outbid the Orioles,
They have new
then
owners. They actually enjoy winning.
well, that is we always go back to that. So that is the
Yeah.
issue. All right. Well, I got nothing else unless you do.
No, I don't either.
All right, we
Nope,
are
I'm
heading.
excited.
We are Florida bound Friday or
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, and we will have we will be doing a podcast at some point, maybe Monday morning, maybe late Sunday night, and put it out Monday morning. It could be from the beach or the
They
pool.
play, so they play. I would assume they have a. Let's do Monday since we're traveling on Sunday.
Okay,
That's Monday. That's a new plan. Oh, Cardinals have an off day on Monday. That's perfect.
perfect. We'll be back on Monday.
They have a weird off day in the middle of a homestand. That doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. Who do they have after? I should have looked this up. Who do they have
Pittsburgh, and
after?
they're going to face Skeens.
All right, go see him, guys. Go see him. He's electric.
I hope they don't face Jared Jones too. Just give us one of the two, please.
Yeah, that
I
would
can
be
take
good.
one loss. I can't take both.
All right, so let's get out of here. It was great to be back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Tell a friend, hit that subscribe button. We will be back next week, live from Florida. Go Cards.